Hello, welcome back. If you're watching on the video today, you'll see that the sun is like not doing me any favors. I'm either in shadow or in full sunlight, so excuse the video. Hopefully the audio is enough to like carry us through here. If you're on audio, amazing. You will not have any problem. So today, what we're going to talk about is the 9 common mistakes that freelancers make and how to fix them. Because I made a lot of these mistakes. I think every single one of these mistakes I have made, probably some more than once. And I have been a freelancer or working in the B2B service space for over 6 years, nearly 7 years now. And in that time, I have seen these things come up again and again. And I've been coaching and training and mentoring freelancers, virtual assistants, service providers of all sorts now for more than 2 years. And honestly, these are things that slow us down. These are things that make life harder than it has to be. And that's why we're here, right? I want to make this journey easier for you. I want you to get to your dream business quicker. I want it to be less expensive and less painful. So these are the 9 things. They are not in any particular order. They are just 9 things. The first one we're going to talk about is saying yes to everything. And typically this is based on scarcity and people pleasing and not knowing what your zone of genius actually is. And when we start our business, that's fine initially, right? You want to be able to play if you're unsure, but the quicker that we get this sorted, the quicker it is that we're going to grow. And the problem with saying yes to everything is that you are overstretched. You probably aren't charging enough, which we're going to talk about. And you have to keep learning things, which means that you won't get clients the best results they could, and you're making it harder for yourself. So when you're a jack of all trades, but a master of none of those things, it is a massive mental load that you are carrying, and you are pretzeling yourself into what everybody else wants you to be, rather than honoring what you love and who it is that you want to be. So with this approach, saying yes to everything, we are basically running down the road to burnout. Now, really the problem here is that you're going to be juggling too much, because if you're doing podcast editing for one person and Facebook ads for another and social media for another, and trust me, I've done this, right? And managed multiple things across multiple teams. It just takes a lot more mental energy. It takes a lot more infrastructure. It takes a lot more of everything, of thought processes and checklists and all of the things to make sure that you don't drop a ball. So how do we fix this? We focus. Focus gives you speed. Focus gives you speed. So I want you to think about determining one ideal outcome for your people and make it the ultimate solution. I know I've spoken about this a lot, but truthfully, think about what the ultimate solution for your people is, and then get really, really, really good at that thing. And then learn how to say no. And say no with trust. Trust that if you stay in your lane, then you are going to go further and faster. And trust that if your energy is directed with a narrow focus, that you are going to see better results, because you will. All right, number 2, undercharging. I told you we were going to talk about it. Most of us start off at an hourly rate, right? And again, that is fine when you are just getting started, if you feel like you need to. And I know that I've spoken about this before. My husband was a carpenter, very typical in that space to be hourly rate based, to have a wage based on that or a salary based on that. And when we came into building websites and we couldn't base it off an hourly rate, and we went with a value-based pricing, that was like a really big jump for my husband mentally. And so I get that, and I say this with a lot of my clients, that we get stuck at like, oh my gosh, no one would ever pay $80 an hour. Oh my gosh, no one would ever pay X an hour. And yeah, maybe if people are used to paying staff $30 an hour, then they're not actually going to want to jump to $80 an hour. But if we base it off an outcome and off deliverables and not an hourly rate, then that doesn't become a thing. In my agency, we are package based. We know what the deliverables are. We know what the monthly retainer is. That's agreed ahead of time. No one's counting hours. So the problem when you go off an hourly rate is it's likely too close to what you were earning before. And that becomes an issue because you have expenses now. And realistically, if you want to grow your business and have time to be in your business, then you can only serve clients like 1/4 to half of the time that you're actually, as a CEO, that you're actually working. Right. And so you don't really have, if you want to work 40 hours, you probably only have 10 hours where you can really serve clients. So you're capping your income. Now, if you want to talk more about that 10 hours versus, having 30 hours, what am I doing for 30 hours? Well, we really want to be working on our business. We're going to have to be doing things like finance. We have to be taking care of our team. We've got, there's so many other things in our business. Depending what it is, you might be able to double that. You might be able to work with clients half of the time and still run a business and still feel like you're not burning out and still grow and all of that. But you don't want to base anything off an hourly rate because you are capping your income. There's only so many hours in a day. And your value is more than time for money. You are then, if you're working with this model, you're sacrificing your own goals for the goals of your clients. And I know that that's where I was at a few years ago. I realized, oh my gosh, I put my business on pause to dedicate everything to my clients. And we want to deliver. We definitely want to deliver, but not at the expense of our clients. And when I was running a VA agency, the way that I had set it up was too close to that model for my comfort. And so we changed things. So how do we fix it, right? First, we need to determine what it is that you want to earn. And then you need to divide that amount by the clients that you want and craft an offer that provides more value. So it doesn't cost you more, but gives more value than that number. So what do I mean? Say you want to take home $100,000 a year. Then you need to earn probably $200,000 a year, approximately. Again, it really depends on industry. Divide that amount by the amount of clients that you want. If you know that every client takes you 10 hours a month, then figure out how many clients you can actually have in that time. Okay, now you know how much you need to charge every client every month. And then what can you do? What's the offer? What can you provide in that amount of time that's going to provide that more than the value of what they're paying you? So if they're paying you $3,000 a month, how can you provide more value than $3,000 a month? What does that actually look like? Are you going to be crafting email campaigns for them that are going to bring them in $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month? And so therefore it's worth it. Are you going to be getting them X amount of leads per month? So therefore it's worth it. Whatever your offer is, think really about the value that brings to the bottom line of the business. And we charge based on that number. Then hours go out the window, you deliver. And sometimes, that means that you're working more for that client. In our agency, if things are going well, great, we'll do less hours for them that month because we actually don't need to change anything. If like the wheels are turning and all the leads are coming in perfectly and like everything's good, why break it? No need. If things aren't working, we work until it does. And that's how we run it inside our business. And that really works for us, especially when we think about number one, which is getting really good at something. It takes less and less time to do that thing when you do that same thing over and over because you just get more efficient and better and you know what works. All right, number 3. The third mistake we're going to talk about is not niching. I feel like a little bit of a broken record. And again, it comes back to scarcity, right? We think that we can help everyone. We probably can. The problem is that when we speak generally, because we're speaking to everyone, we actually speak to no one. We don't stand out. We dilute and we delay and we deplete our results. It is like running up the side of a mountain through the mud and the rocks and the vines when there's like a nice paved pathway 5 meters to the right. Trust me on this. I have done both of these things and I've coached hundreds of clients one-on-one at this point. The sooner that you get clear on your niche, the easier it is going to be to do everything in your business. And you might niche and say, okay, I only work with tradespeople, I only work with dentists. Or you might niche and say, I only do podcasting, or I only do Google ads or Facebook ads. Or you might niche and say, I help people with anxiety move from here to here. Like, it doesn't matter what way you niche, whether it's demographics or psychographics or a solution or a transformation or a specific product or value proposition. Just pick one and get really good at it. And everything's easier. Your marketing is easier. Your sales is easier. You get better results. Like, results are easier because you're doing the same thing. I promise you, this is a good thing to do. How do we fix it? Determine the problem you want to solve for a group of people who will benefit the most from your services, who can also afford what it is you want to pay. So if you want to charge $30,000 per client and your ideal client is a mum down the road who makes like printed t-shirts, well, that, depending on what you do, might be a difficult proposition. So this has to also align with what you want to charge, because what's the value that you can bring? And if you can bring value to that, you know, that woman down the road in excess of $30,000, amazing, great, perfect. And if not, who can you bring that amount of value to? Okay, number 4, cobbling together free software for too long. Now, when we start off in business, actually all the time in business, we have to choose to spend either time or money. And that is fine, but ultimately you can make more money, but you can't make more time. So paying for software buys you back time that you can use to make more money. And yes, some of your software might cost you $100, $200, $300 a month. But if you charge $50 an hour or $100 an hour, or your staff, you pay your staff $50 an hour, then it saves you like 2 hours a month. Then it's worth it because we get things done quicker. So I can totally relate with like the free CRM, the free, social scheduling, the free everything as possible, like whatever I could get, free project management, everything was free. And then I had to cobble them all together. And I was like, hang on, that doesn't talk to that. Oh, now I'm wasting, what's the login? Like, it was just got so messy. And so a couple of years into business, we started paying for things, and it just takes the load off because it finally has all the functions that you need, and you're not trying to, then like Zapier works and all the things. And now most of you will know that I have an all-in-one marketing and sales CRM software that my clients and I use, and it's all in one and it's beautiful. And if you do want to check that out, it's available at freeceo.tech, or just go to my website, annalieswarren.com, and you'll see the link to software there. So how do we fix this? How do we fix this problem? We get software that will automate the repeatable tasks in your business or make a process smoother. So again, check out freeceo.tech, but there are so many other great things of software that you can get, like even moving from MailChimp to something like ConvertKit for emails if you don't need a full all-in-one system. But honestly, once you start paying for a couple of things, Freeceo is all-in-one and is likely cheaper, but that's also not the point. So really do just think about, what software do I need? Like in our agency, we got reporting software. Amazing, saves hours and hours and hours, and like total game changer, right? Because yeah, it's expensive. It's like $100 a month or something, but across however many clients, and we make that time back. Okay, next one, not having a people plan to grow their business. Now, it's another conversation that I'm going to have until I'm blue in the face. People equals profit. Without people, your income is capped. When you're a service provider, without people, your income is capped. When I hired my first full-time role in my business, my revenue doubled. My revenue doubled. Oh, I just licked my earring out. That's interesting. Okay, we're all fine. So I want you to think about your organizational chart and the organizational chart of your dream business, because they're likely a little bit different. But what I want you to do is I want you to draw up both the next person, because that's your people plan. And it might be a revenue goal, it might be a client goal. Say with every new 4 clients per month, maybe you need another person. Maybe when you get to a certain amount of clients, you need to hire an account manager. Like, know what the steps are to move from what your dream business is, where you're doing only the things that you absolutely love in your business, to what you're doing now and the role that you play in your business now. It's a really interesting exercise that not a lot of people have actually done. And so I encourage you to think about that. That's your people plan. So how do we fix this? We reverse engineer your business, right? Start with what you want to earn, the amount of clients you need, you've already done that, and then determine the people that you need in order to bring that vision to life. So if you're a photographer and you need to work with 100 clients or even 50 clients to get your revenue goal, amazing. But do you want to work 50 weekends a week? If you're like a wedding photographer or something, do you want to work 50 weddings? Probably not. So do you need one other photographer to make that goal? And then when you're paying them, do you still get paid what you want to pay, what you want to earn? And if that's the case, do you need to actually get another photographer and do 75 weddings? Like, what is it? Really, like, keep jiggling these numbers around. Jiggling's probably not the right word. Shifting and playing with these numbers, writing different scenarios down and see what feels good. And then create your people plan from that. All right, next mistake is not thinking big enough. Oh, excuse me. Have some water. So many of the women that I start working with have a goal that is smaller than their real dreams. And when we dig into it, what becomes apparent is that they allow their past to dictate their future. When in fact, your past is your past. And it gets to stay there. Your future is whatever you decide you want to walk towards. You get to choose. And yes, there are a whole heap of factors that influence the speed that we get there and how hard we have to work. But if you are listening to this right now, then you have enough privilege to be able to make some choices around your input and your output. And life goes so fast. So now is the time to change course if you need to. Baby steps. So how do we fix this? We dare to dream big. Big. Listen to that small, still whisper. Listen to that pull and do the thing, right? Just take that first step and watch what happens and then do it again. All right. Next mistake is a little bit more down to earth, a lot more down to earth. Not setting aside money for tax. I made this mistake in the first 2 years of my business. And the second year taught me that I needed to get smarter specifically. And now I follow the profit first methodology, and I also add GST on top of this. So GST is tax that we have in Australia that we need to pay if we earn over a certain amount. So this process now, for me, the Profit First process, which is a book by Mike Michalowicz, is it involves having different bank accounts for income, expenses, tax, and profit. And when we move money into tax, I personally take the 10% off the top first because we collect that for the Australian government. You're welcome. And I put that in my tax account as well because we pay that every quarter. And then I work from that remaining number to calculate my percentage. So for example, if I've brought in $110,000, $10,000 goes in the tax account, and then I'm working all my other numbers from that 100,000. I'm just giving a nice round number, right? So I take 15% of that money, so 15,000 every whatever period it is. For us, it's every 2 weeks, and I put it in the tax account. That means that tax account, I pretend it doesn't exist except on that day. I don't draw from it. Like this money is not my money. It's just gone. And I'm working then from the 85,000 for my profit, for my like expenses, for anything else. So that means I always have enough to pay the tax bill and my accountant. And normally there's leftover. But the best feeling, it's such the best feeling, to not even have to think about tax. Like when the tax bill comes in and like, you owe this many $1,000s. It's not like, oh, where do I have to find this money? Or like, oh, bummer, I thought I had this. I thought I could buy this. No, it's in the tax account. It's the best feeling. You don't even feel like you're paying anything, right? Because it's just off to the side. I already know that's not my money, and there it is. So I then am not worrying about this at all because I know that I have a system and it's sorted. And this is the freedom that I talk about that comes from having processes around everything. The mental load is gone because this happens before anything else. I don't even need to think about it because it's done. So how do we fix this problem? If you're doing this, how do we fix it? Number one is we speak to your accountant. You speak to your accountant and then implement a process that is similar to the one that I talked about. If you pay GST or any other sort of special tax, we take that off first, and then we pay 15% ideally to tax every month. Again, speak to your accountant because your situation might be a bit different, but a system similar to this, implement it where you are from every 2 weeks or every month putting money aside for tax. It is really important. All right. How many? We've got two more. So this must be number 8. The number 8 one is we try and do everything ourselves, or they try to do everything themselves. So this relates back a little bit to having a people plan. But even if you know you want a micro business with limited people, and so your people plan is not very big, you still need to think about, or you're going to want to think about, what tasks you can hire out. Because if you do not have an assistant, then you are the assistant. That means if your hourly rate is $200 an hour, but you're doing everything, then you're effectively paying your assistant $200 an hour to probably do not that great a job, right? Because you don't love those things. That's because you're giving up earning that amount of money to do the assistant's tasks instead of having capacity to work with clients. In reality, it is people that allow us to do the role that we love in our business. There is no creative CEO that I speak to that loves every part of being CEO. Not one. Not in my peer group, not in the people that I coach. Nobody that I speak to loves every single part of being a CEO. Yeah, they do it. Yeah, they can. But why? Why? So, how to fix it? Identify what drains you in your business and ask who could do this with every single task that comes across your desk. Talk about, okay, actually, no, this is the next one, number 9. Talking about what they do and not the result of what they do. I see this as a major issue with service providers, freelancers, virtual assistants, social media managers. We know what we do and we know the value of it. And so we kind of forget that others don't. So we talk about the ads that we run or the websites that we build and the social media posts that we can create, but we don't talk about the things that are the next step from that, the leads, the conversion rate increases, and the bigger audience. So when you design your offer, Become laser focused on the outcomes of the solution that you're providing. And then talk about that a lot. Because people don't care about the bridge, like what the bridge is made of. They just know that they want to get to the other side. So they don't care that you're going to do 5 social media posts a week first, right? First, they just know that they want to get to the other side and they want to know that you can help them. And then they're going to ask the nitty-gritty questions. But first, they need to know that you can get them, that you have a bridge, that you can get them to the other side. So how do we fix this? We brainstorm the outcomes, the results of what your offer actually is, and then we make sure that we talk about that everywhere, on your website, on your socials, your proposals, everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And that's how we fix it. And they're the 9. So let's recap the 9 common mistakes freelancers make and how to fix them. Number 1, we say yes to everything. How do we fix it? Focus gives us speed. Determine one outcome for your ideal person, make it the ultimate solution for them, and then get really, really good at that thing. Number 2, undercharging. How to fix it? Determine what you want to earn, divide that by the number of clients that you want, and craft an offer that provides more value than that number. Number 3, not niching. How do we fix it? We determine the problem that you want to solve for a group of people who will benefit the most from your services and who can afford what you want to pay. Number 4, cobbling together free software for too long. How to fix it? Getting software that will automate the repeatable tasks in your business or make other processes smoother. Remember, check out Freelancers. Number 5, not having a people plan to grow your business. We fix this by, remember, reverse engineering your business, starting with what you want to earn and the clients. We've done that work already. And then the people that you need to bring that vision to life. So really contrasting what business looks like now and what you want business to look like. The next one is not thinking big enough. Allow those dreams. Dare to dream really big. Listen to that voice and do the thing. Number 7, not setting aside money for tax. Please speak to your accountant and put money aside for tax. It's like a weight off the shoulders. Number 8, trying to do everything ourselves. Really think about asking that question, who could do this, with every single task that comes across your desk, and then add that to the people plan, right? Last one, talking about what we do instead of the result. Do a big brainstorm here, get into ChatGPT if you need to, and make sure that everywhere that you are reflects this, your website, your socials, your proposal, everywhere. And that's the 9. Thank you so much for being here with me today and listening to this. Let me know on socials. Come and DM me, have a chat with me, come and say hi. Let me know which one of these stood out for you, which one maybe you can see yourself doing again and again. And if you would like to, then book a strategy call with me and we can put a 3-step action plan in place to remove you from this repetitive pattern and actually set a people plan in place to get you to the position in a business that you would love to be in. All right, thank you so much again. That's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.